welcome to the Homicide Canada podcast. I'm Phil. I'm here with Tami, my co-host and producer of the podcast. Besides this podcast, we also run a website, homicidecanada.com, where we try to keep track of every murder that occurs in Canada. Basically, we have try to have a page for every murder, and we try to update it as the case goes along. We also have pages on provincial pages, keeping track of the number of murders per province, and also the larger municipalities. We also have a Facebook and Instagram. If you go on there and search for homicidecanada.com, you'll find that. We have a Twitter handle, or a Twitter account rather, homicide_canada.com. Our DMs are always open. So if you want to get in touch with us that way, or you want to see, we usually make a tweet for every homicide we come across in that, and any updates in that. So it's a good way to follow along if you want to. Besides that, on the website, you can always email us at info@homicidecanada.com in case we've missed a murder. Occasionally it happens. Sometimes we're a bit slow, but sometimes for the little smaller towns in Canada, occasionally we'll miss out on one. So yeah, we always want to try to get as much coverage as we can as all the murders that happen. Usually most episodes we do we go over the previous month's homicides and that, and then just kind of cover the more noteworthy one and give the stats and that. But sometimes we'll do some more single homicides stories in that. And this one is one of those. It's a Hamilton homicide, and it's a recent one that's still ongoing, but we figured we'd do a little short one, sort of talking about it and some issues that with regard to it in that. And this is, I believe, Tami, our 22nd episode?
23rd.
23rd. Oh, my mistake then. Okay, so we're, 23rd episode. So this one is about Tyler Pratt. Okay, so 39-year-old Tyler Pratt of British Columbia was found deceased near Colonial Pillars, and that's a business, I believe, right, Tami?
Yep.
In the Stoney Creek area of Hamilton, with an injured females who had ties to Hamilton. The female victim, and she hasn't been named, that's correct, Tami?
No, she hasn't been named.
The female victim was taken to hospital and treated for serious gunshot injuries. The 26-year-old girlfriend spent several weeks in intensive care following the attack, where she lost her unborn baby, according to an interview with Pratt's mother in the Daily Mail. Hamilton Police Services said they were originally called to the report of an injured woman in the area. Police said the suspects fled in a white Land Rover with body damage to it.
What we know about the victim: his mother said that he was an entrepreneur who previously launched a diamond company called Heart as Diamonds. Pratt was listed as chairman of the board for Elite Organic Nutrition. He was working on an app called Pictorius at the time of his death, she said. He was a father and transitioning to the GTA from BC to move in with his fiancée. On March 25th, 2021, investigators announced that they identified 28-year-old Oliver Karafa and 25-year-old Yun Lucy Liu Lee as the suspects responsible for the murder and attempted murder. Karafa and Lee fled to Eastern Europe within 24 hours of the incident. The pair had fled to Hungary.
Okay, so Lee, she is 1/3 of the Mia triplets. They were social media influencer sisters that were able to be found both on Instagram and TikTok, although I guess their profiles are now private.
Yeah, I looked them up on TikTok and it was private.
Okay, I think I looked them up right after it happened on Instagram, and I think it might still have been.
Yeah, it was still up
then.
for a short period.
Okay. The sisters modeled together for several brands such as Icon Swim. Her one sister Caitlin was a Miss World Canada 2020 third runner-up. She was appointed Miss Intercontinental Canada 2020. The triplets have also been credited with helping found a group called Canadian Youth Funding Association, one of the Respond charity gala's beneficiaries. Lee is the daughter of high-powered Markham businesswoman Hong Wei, also known as Winnie Liao, who runs Respond, I guess that's spelled RESPON, International Group, a life insurance firm. Liao is also known to host annual charity galas and seems to have ties to both local politicians and Chinese diplomats in Canada. There's a photo of her shaking hands with the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that was featured on the company's website, but has since been removed. Also on the Chinese language news site, she's featured with Doug Ford, Ontario's Conservative Premier. According to China Watch Canada, she made donations to the Liberal Party totaling about $20,000 between 2014 and 2019. and that's from the Elections Canada's database.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a fair amount of money. So
Karafa was born in Slovakia to Wojciech Karafa and Maria Karafova. He has a sister named Edita Karafova. Karafa moved to Canada in 2001 and first lived in Windsor before moving to Toronto. He worked out at Extreme Fitness Club at Yonge Street and Wellesley Avenue in Toronto, and his trainer was David Chang, who was 5 years younger than him.
Yeah, and so in 2014, Oliver Karafa was found guilty of impaired driving causing death, driving over the legal limit of alcohol, criminal negligence causing death, and dangerous operation of a motor vehicle causing death, and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. According to CTV, Karafa was driving drunk in 2012 and speeding at twice the limit when he crashed his car, causing his passenger, 19-year-old David Chiang, to be ejected from the vehicle and to smash headfirst into a pole, and then subsequently Chiang died of those injuries.
Oliver Karafa and Lucy Liu Li were arrested in the Party district of Budapest. Police found 2 fake Slovakian IDs at the time of their arrest. Investigators returned Lucy Li to Canada on Monday, July 12, 2021, as the extradition process. Oliver Karafa continued over the next 8 months. According to reports, Karafa chose to fight his extradition, claiming his life would be in danger at the Barton Street jail and that Hamilton police were corrupt. On Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, investigators escorted Karafa from Budapest, Hungary to Hamilton, Ontario. According to the Hamilton Spectator Nicole O'Reilly, it was revealed in court on March 31st that Karafa and his co-accused, Yun Lucy Liu Li, are married. However, it's unclear when the pair wed.
So I guess the thing is that basically after the homicide, right after the homicide happened, they basically fled to Europe, right? Like basically that night, or maybe the next day or something like that. Because it was only like, I guess they figured out, Hamilton police, I guess, named them as suspects, I guess, like pretty quickly after in that. So yeah, I guess it was the 25th. And I guess forget which day it was that it actually took place on. So yeah, it must have been pretty soon. Yeah, and that's interesting. The fact that they're actually married, because that wasn't reported at all until I guess fairly recently in that.
Yeah, until I guess it was like an April 1st article I think that I read.
Oh, okay. So, but that was of I guess. Of this year, I suppose. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So I guess the court date was March 30th.
Yeah.
And the actual homicide took place on February 28th of 2021.
So I guess the police haven't really said much about the crime and that, like what the motive is in that. So I guess people have suspicions in that. But anyways, I'll just continue on here. CHCH reported that Ontario Supreme Court Justice Andrew Goodman said that the bail plan presented for Lucy Li was one of the most robust he'd ever seen. Lee's mother was her main surety, and she pledged $2 million for bail. 2 additional family friends were also her sureties, and they pledged $500,000 and $200,000. Her conditions included Lee must remain in her home and in North York 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She was required to wear a GPS tracking device on her ankle and cannot have any visitors other than the immediate family. She's allowed to leave her house arrest for appointments, and she can't use the internet without her being supervised. Now that's pretty interesting because like they both fled.
Yeah.
They obviously knew this incident happened. Well, obviously it hasn't been proved in court, but they both fled. To another country overseas, and she's obviously a flight risk. Her mother's obviously quite wealthy, and maybe wealthy enough that maybe $2 million isn't like not the end of the world.
It's not putting a dent in her wallet.
Yeah, and so like obviously, in terms of this murder and that, like it's pretty rare in Canada for murderers to get bail and that. So this is like I don't know. This almost is. I find it strange and for several reasons in that. So.
Do you think maybe, like, she gave them information on him, and that's why they're giving her a bit of a break?
I suppose that's possible. Like, I don't know. I've one thing I've noticed in I don't know this. I sometimes think there's a bit of a sexist aspect to like murders where there's both a male and female perpetrator in that. Whereas if it was 2 males in that, then I think that like they probably both wouldn't get bail. But then I think sometimes there's sexism and they say like, oh, she was just going along with this guy, and like it turns out it's her husband. So I don't know if
she
that
was
makes it.
afraid of him.
Yeah, or something like that. But like she obviously made the decision to flee to another jurisdiction in that. So like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'll be curious. To, like at the end of the day, like obviously the court case is slowly moving through the system in that, and I'll be curious to see what sentences they end up getting in that. Like it wouldn't shock me if like it's alleged that he's the one who pulled the trigger in that. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know that. I'm just saying hypothetically in that. But yeah, it's I don't know. It just seems that like why can't like a woman like in this day and age like it's like supposed to have equal rights in that, but also equal responsibilities in that. Like if you committed this crime together, and it seems like I don't know, like we're not exactly sure what the reason what this crime was, but obviously they met up in kind of like a sort of like a closed industrial area of Hamilton and that, and a meetup and that, and so and then I guess you could argue maybe like they were doing some type of deal and it went south or something like that, but like I don't know, I guess you could argue like, hey, I didn't know that her husband was going to shoot this guy or something like that, but I don't know. They were able to fly both away pretty soon in that. So like
to take off that quickly.
How can you not say that she's like not like a not just a willing accomplice, but like a full perpetrator and that. So I don't. I just think it's pretty strange. So so as far as Karafa, he's been transferred to jail, I guess, since getting transferred to Slovakia, and pending a bail hearing and trial, and is being represented by defense attorney Leroy Schmesh. Or Sheemish, I'm not sure exactly how to say that. A standard publication ban has been imposed, so we won't know much about what's going on with him until the trial. I guess the one thing about him is obviously he's still in jail now, and I guess I'm assuming he's not going to get bail. Although it does seem like his parents also have money as well, or is that?
Yeah, but I think that I don't know. Maybe it's like your second time.
I suppose that's true. Yeah, he already has spent time in jail for that drunk driving incident, killing that trainer guy in that. So I guess maybe
and his parents couldn't get him out of that. So.
Yeah, I guess you can't really argue that he's already an ex-con in that. So so yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, I guess what I'm saying is like we know he's not getting bail.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I guess usually for most murders and homicides, and especially of this nature, that somebody's going to have to like spend time in jail. Like they're not going to get bail before the trial on that. So.
No.
Now, the only thing I could say is maybe like in this case in that, like we obviously don't know very much about it. Like just the fact that he met up with this guy, the victim, Tyler Pratt, and his girlfriend in that. And both, I guess the other thing too, it wasn't just him who got killed. She got shot as well.
And why isn't there 2 murder charges if her baby?
Well, I guess I don't think it, like in the U.S. I think it would be, but I think in Canada I don't know what the rules are, but I don't think a fetus normally counts as an additional victim. So.
I know, like they say until it's born, but I'm pretty sure she was like 7 months pregnant.
So so the baby was basically in the range of
full term.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because I know that there was another case in Mississauga years ago, and there ended up being a charge for the baby as well.
So obviously now the one thing I guess you could say is maybe like, actually I don't know if you can say it, like you're saying like, was it they went and a deal was a deal and it went south, and then he could argue, I suppose, that it was like, self-defense or something, and then it ends up weighing more of a manslaughter type charge than the mother, or rather than murder. But if he shot both of them in that, unless he was arguing they both had guns or he was afraid of both of them in that. So, like, I don't know. It's kind of strange in that way, but I don't know. I guess it could be like, and we don't really have much information on exactly like what either of them did job-wise in that. Like, obviously, maybe they made money as a social media influencer, but usually you have to make like a fair amount. Now, admittedly, her mother is really rich in that. Maybe she participated in her companies, or she didn't really have to do anything.
And they did their bikini modeling. I'm not sure how much money that would bring in, but.
And then for Karafa and that, I guess that we don't really know what he did at all, or.
No.
Okay, so there's so we don't know where he worked or anything like that.
No.
And he didn't show up on LinkedIn or anything like that.
No,
so, okay.
Definitely not. Okay. No, there's not a whole lot of information about him on social media. But
yeah, so
I guess maybe if you're doing weird stuff, you're not gonna have a
I
social
suppose
media
that's
profile.
true. Yeah, you're not gonna like if you're doing like illegal stuff in that, you're not gonna have like a LinkedIn profile going. So you're gonna like keep that lower down on the radar and that. And he himself didn't like. Obviously, she had a pretty robust social media presence, but he didn't really have any then, I guess.
No, I couldn't find any for him. So
so He might have scrubbed it as well, or he also might have had it under like not his own name or something
That's
like
true.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, it seems like I guess so. And the trials I guess we're still waiting for the trial to start now. Then
Yeah, like they just got him here like a month ago.
a month ago, yeah. So then
It probably won't happen this year.
yeah, that's certainly possible for Canadian murder trial and that. Now, I guess the one interesting thing is will she end up being tried? Will they be tried separately, or will they be tried together? Is she going to turn on him and like try to like, Carlo Homolka style, try to implicate him and say that it was all him and that for a reduced sentence and that? So
I don't know, like maybe, because I'm sure he's not very happy that she's on bail.
Yeah,
like she's out on bail. She clearly isn't free, but
yeah.
she's still not in jail.
No, for sure, yeah, and like obviously, like one person's dead, one person's shot, an unborn baby was killed in that. So like, I don't know. It's like it's obviously like it's kind of insane, but it is what it is. Yeah, and like for Lee and that, like this obviously it could go for quite a while before this trial, and she like admittedly she has house arrest, but like I'd rather have house arrest than be in Hamilton jail on that. Like that's not gonna be a pleasant place, even if you're a woman in that. So
and I also wonder, like, when she decided to come home, like if they're married and all that.
Yeah, like
wouldn't
obviously
he
they
be
fled
weird
for a
about
while,
that?
and it wasn't like she came back like the next day. It wasn't until they
No,
got
it was,
arrested
like,
in that. So.
July.
Yeah,
Like,
so like
that's
they were on
a
the
long
run
time.
for quite a long time in that. So that's like another strange thing that they were like about getting bail in that. Like she was like,
Well, I guess they both would have been in prison in
Yeah.
Hungary, so maybe she just was
I don't
like,
know.
I want to go home.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she was in touch with her parents or her mother and that, and I don't know. Maybe like I could see like saying, hey, the lawyer says if like
Yeah.
you agree to testify in that, then you'll get a lesser sentence in that. So then it becomes like who testifies first or whatever in that. So I don't know. It's
It'll be interesting.
yeah. So
Maybe by then we'll be able to actually go to the courts
Yeah.
and watch.
it could be pretty interesting. So yeah, it's kind of a strange case in that. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it for this episode and that. So we're gonna keep watching this case.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess the main issue I think that was interesting I found was as I said, the bail. Also the fleeing the country and that, and spending a few months on the lam
And partying.
and partying and that. So yeah, it's pretty strange in that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, all right. So, as I said at the top, our website is homicidecanada.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter as well. Twitter is homicide_Canada. And then, the email is info@homicidecanada.com. And we'll be back pretty soon. We're starting to work on, I believe it's the April murders in Canada. That's our episode where we go over all the homicides that happened in April and that. So, I forget, Tami, was there more murders than normal in April this year? Or?
I think it was almost the same.
Okay, so
Like just off by a few.
nothing too unusual in that.
No.
But yeah, we'll be there, and there's some interesting, unusual murders I think in to cover that month too, and
Yeah,
like
there
some
are.
other stuff in that. So yeah, until next time then.